Welcome to West Underground. We got wicked things today. I think we got more hair on the couch than a hair salon, but we're live. How you guys going?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
thanks, man.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Thank you.
That's fucking awesome.
For the audience who don't know who Wicked Things are, who are you guys?
We're a bitchin' party rock band to get naked to.
That's what it says in our bio.
Daughters, lock up your mothers.
Don't lock up too tight though.
But if you lock up your mums, take their credit card with you.
Yeah, I'm only a bass player. My fingers aren't that nimble.
Wait, this is for kids.
So we're a band of 4 brothers from Sydney. We play like, I don't know, we were kind of raised on a heavy diet of Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and Van Halen, and we're kind of a derivative of that.
Here we are.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it, man. Like playing, like jumping around, and we got big hair.
Alright, so you mentioned you were all 4 brothers.
Yep.
So what made you guys start a band as brothers? Like you all had instruments individually and thought?
We like, I remember Gene Simmons had a TV show on that was called Rock School, and it was like a derivative, like the Jack Black
School of Rock
film.
movie,
He
yeah.
He went around to like this posh English school and taught them rock and roll, and I remember watching that when we were in like year 7 or 8, and I remember watching it and being like, fuck, Mum, Dad, can we have a guitar? And they're like, oh, I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And then we got some, and they were like, you know, it might just be a phase thing. And then, yeah, we started playing and just never put them down. And then, like, I started to get my fingers around chords and everything.
Yeah.
Jerry was
And
struggling
then,
with it.
I couldn't do chords and stuff. Like, we learned playing, we were playing at the same time. And yeah, I couldn't do chords and stuff. And one of our best mates at the time was a bass player. And he was like, oh, there's no chords on a bass. Play bass. I was like, oh, thank fuck.
And then
It's
Coop,
awesome.
I've
Coop was
always,
always
been a tapper.
tapping shit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, one year I got a pair of drumsticks for Christmas or my birthday or something. The next year I got a set of bongos and learned how to do, like, real patterns. And then from there, yeah, next year, lucky enough, got a drum set and just fucking grown from there.
And
The
Caleb,
weird one for me was like my sort of musical, I guess you could say, like journey.
Yeah.
Kind of came full circle in itself. So I started with guitar, and then I started learning sort of off Blade, and then just like learning by ear and all that kind of thing. And then after I was playing guitar for a while, because I wasn't up to like the same level Blade was, I decided, oh fuck that, I'm no good at it, so I'll try piano.
Yeah.
Tried piano, a similar sort of thing happened. Played that for a while. I was like, I'm no good at this. So tried singing. Exact same thing again. I was like, I'm terrible at this. There's no way I'm gonna roll with that. And then came back, like sort of full circle onto guitar again, and just stuck with it after that. Played guitar for like 10 years or so, anywhere from that. And then after that, I heard a couple songs that I loved, so I was like, okay, I'll learn them on piano. So I learned piano from there, and then got thrown into the singing from after a while. It was like the original band that everyone had together. They had a different singer, and then that
Yeah,
ended up sort of splitting and got in.
yeah, we've been playing together for ages, obviously. So we're at home, and you know, we played through all our HSCs,
Like,
good performance
yeah, what,
pieces.
14,
And
15
then
years now.
After school, we met this guy named Vince, and we made a band, 1, 2, 3, called Cold Vulture.
Yeah.
And he was,
That was kind of
he
more
the
like
singer
a
for that.
funk
It's like a
rock
funk
thing.
rock thing.
Yeah, kind of Chili Peppers. Caleb
Yeah.
was like in high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't
And then
work out
after a
well.
while, like we started wanting kind of different stuff. Vince was really into like soul funk stuff, and he kills it at that now. He's got another
Yeah.
project. And,
Like, he's still a legend. He's still one of our best mates. We hang out all the time, but we're just like musically different.
Yeah.
and then we wanted to just do rock and roll. And
Yeah,
we
so
started
we
on-
got heavier, he got like more neo soul.
And Wicked Things was initially a 3-piece. I was singing and guitar, drums, bass, obviously. And then we had a meeting with like some management figures and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, we'd really love to see you with like a David Lee Roth type singer." You know, he's like, "Cause you're a great singer, but you're not the front guy." And Caleb
Blade was singing.
Caleb literally walked into the room, and the guy's like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" And I'd say younger brother Caleb, and then he tripped. He's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's your brother as well. Like actually your brother." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I don't care if he can sing or not. He looks like that. Give him a microphone."
It was such like a little wholesome moment because I came down at first and I had my hair tied up. And like sitting next to this
would
guy.
anyone like a cup of tea or like a Scotch finger? I'm doing coffees.
He was like, yeah, I'll have a cup of tea. I was like, how do you want it? And he's like, oh, I'll just have it with 1 tea bag and just like a splash of milk. I was like, no sugar? He's like, no sugar. I was like, fuck.
What a man.
Hardcore. I came back down and I'd kind of planned in my head, so I'd untied my hair and walked back in, and he was like, you've got the look for it. If you can learn to sing, I'm pretty keen.
Caleb missed the whole you should sing, you need a new singer conversation and came back in and he was like, that kid should do it.
So
Like,
you had no
okay.
singer, no singing.
No,
Just went
No.
for it.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Like, prior to that meeting, we were just Deep Purple and Black Sabbath heads.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just like full on. And then after that, the manager guy, he was like, like we played a few of the original songs that we had, and he's like, you guys sound like Van Halen. And we're like, we've never listened to Van Halen before.
It's like everyone knows
This
Hot
was
for Teacher.
maybe
'cause
like
it's Hot for
2.5
Teacher.
years ago now.
Yeah.
So we're pretty new on the Van Halen train. But after that, we were just like, so he was like, yeah, there's your homework. Get him as a singer and listen to Van Halen.
And we just kind of also happen to all be martial artists and acrobats, so we like to jump around. We're all flexible.
Oh, yeah.
And like you watch David Lee Roth do jump split kicks and stuff, and we can all do it. So we were like, fuck yeah, killer frontman, this guy.
That's how you front, man.
And plus, I liked being the guitar player. I didn't so much like being the singer. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Being
too
the guitar
restrictive
player's
having a
cool.
guitar behind a mic.
But you
It's
still
just
sing
like-
now? You
yeah,
still
we do like
backing
backing
harmonies?
vocals and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And
We're working on it.
we've
We're
all
working on
started
it.
We've all started adding more.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. Singing so
Yeah,
much.
singing
Singing is
and
so
playing
hard.
really,
That's why we're
Singing
in
and playing.
We're like the Beach Boys in no time.
And so we recently been
Hanson.
recording some new stuff, and while we were down there, we
Yeah.
were working with a producer who was getting all of us to sing all the time. So it's,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. It fills everything
it's
out.
cool. It's gonna be really
It's just
good.
cool, man. It's
Really
another
looking
great
forward
skill
to it.
have, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when are your new tracks coming out?
Still.
Hopefully before COVID finishes. That would be good to
Hopefully
get
drop
out.
one. It would be
Yeah.
good to have like
Drop
be
one.
able to chase like a
Yeah.
drop with a really big show, you know, especially at the moment. Everyone's itching for a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
To
been
drop
like,
one during this would be kind of like
Yeah,
a
but
waste
it's
of a
a
show.
good way to
But
pass the time too. It's a good way to get tracks.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Without having to play a show, you know.
well, with the online boom that's going on at the moment, like, with everything being shut down and not playing live
So I
shows.
feel like, don't get me wrong, I love playing shows. It's the best thing in the world. But yeah, now we can't.
But you need to keep people engaged while we're not getting
yeah,
their
exactly,
face.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So we've got some ideas about when, but nothing's really locked
Yeah,
in
nothing
yet.
locked down.
We want to make sure we've got enough content to support it too. Like we want a video and we want all the other shit to go with it.
Yeah, videos,
Interviews,
maybe
like
some
this
merch, and
Yeah.
I think part of the idea is basically just like as soon as physically possible, but without fucking anything up
Yeah,
at the same
without-
time.
Yeah. Like I want to get to a gig as much as I want to play one. So like,
Yeah.
just stay the fuck inside till we're good.
Well, things are starting to open up. So
Exactly.
it's not
Yeah, it's
that
getting
far
there.
away,
It's
yeah.
getting there. Yeah.
Like even here, it's really
If everything
cool to be
stays on
here.
track, we should be
Yeah,
fine.
it's
Yeah.
so good to be out, like fucking doing something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can get like 10 people in, so that's like our whole fan base just covered.
I think you have a big let's be honest, guys.
Depends where you are.
If we all bring one groupie, we're at half cap. So
And then
be
mix and
careful.
match.
Yeah.
So it's
Change
it's dope.
places.
Okay, everyone chuck your keys into a bowl.
Chuck your pick out. Whoever gets yours is the winner.
So guys,
If I have to.
tell us about your Europe experience and how you kind of
Oh,
got
yeah.
thrown into the deep end.
Oh man, okay.
That's
so
a
we
long.
started that?
That is a long story.
I heard
Long
about
story.
this competition that was hosted because of a very good group of friends of ours who go by a collective name, the Fossics. They're another rock band in
Another
Sydney.
rock band. They're sick.
And
You know them.
I saw them post some
Yeah, we
stuff
have
about this
Shout out to the
competition.
Fossies.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hopefully
the
we can
Fossics.
get them on.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
They'll do. Oh,
So we saw them posting some stuff about what the competition was, and they
Yeah.
were in it, and they were getting people to vote for them. And I messaged Dave, and I'm like, Dave, like, what is this thing? He's like, dude, you guys should do it, man. Because, and the cool thing about the Fossics is we were trying to set up gigs with these guys for ages, and then finally we got some together, and then we got like 4 back to back with each other. It was
Oh,
sick.
wow.
It just
And,
sort of
um,
happened that way. It
And then
wasn't
they're just a
forced.
really lovely bunch of dudes, really supportive. They're not.
Yeah.
We were in other scenes we were in. Musos would keep that kind of shit to himself.
yeah,
so
And
they
like
get a better chance at it.
for good reason. Like
No,
you know,
100%.
it's like as
Yeah,
nice
it's-
as everyone is, you do want to get ahead somehow.
Yeah.
Like fully, like no.
But yeah, Dave was like, "Man, you guys
Judgment
should
at
do
all.
it," and I was like, "Fuck it, okay, we'll do it," you know. And we just reached out to everyone we possibly could to
Yeah,
just
it
get them
was
to
like-
write our names on this like event page, and then we ended up in the running. And then we did some shit like, and then the whole time there was like entry forms you had to write up, and then
There was
we
an
had to-
entry fee.
We had to
so
record.
we had to cough up an entry fee.
we had to record a video of us like answering some questions too.
A video
And
is
then-
just complete piss take.
All we
well,
did
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
take the
the
absolute
thing,
piss.
The thing about that was, I was like, because the prize was to win a support slot for Dune Rats. And Dune Rats are huge.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking sick bunch of dudes. I'm not the biggest fan of their music style, but I just think they're sick, man.
Yeah, they were
awesome.
really good
Yeah,
dudes.
like-
I
No,
cannot
but,
fault them as people.
And then we were like, well, we got to do something that's going to make us stand out. So rather than take their questions seriously and be like, you know, what could we learn from the Dune Rats and their touring experience and their music style? It's like, we were like,
We're
fuck,
just-
we'll just do a piss take, man.
we're just
Yeah.
gonna
So it
dump
was
shit
like-
on them for 5 minutes while we answer all these questions.
And
like-
then it worked because Toby, the head of Stoke, ended up when we met him was like, "What was your video about?" It's like, "Oh, we were just taking the piss, man." And he's like, "Oh, it's crazy because I watched your one and yours was the one that stuck with me the most." It's like,
Yes.
you know,
Like
you
properly
something
dumb
to
stuff.
stand
They're
out.
Well, I'm surprised everyone didn't do that. You know.
Yeah,
like
well,
the
that's it,
Dream
like-
Rats themselves.
Well, that's it. Like I feel
think
like
it's
Junior,
confidence
like with
as well.
sorry,
Confidence
yeah.
would have helped
yeah.
a lot. Like,
but like
you
with
just
any
be-
Well, that's
band,
it, yeah.
with any band, I feel like June Rats are probably the last guys to take themselves real seriously.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I went to the
Like,
Dream
I've
Rats
seen their
signing,
stuff,
you know,
like,
years
fuck.
ago, and
Yeah.
like all the tradies were lined up to get their fucking,
Yeah.
you know, their tour signed.
Yeah, the
and then
trowel
people
or
bringing in
some
their
shit.
homemade bongs to get signed.
Yeah.
Girls were like, sign my shit and shit.
I must say
Like,
though-
their poster on the wall.
Yeah.
Sorry to the guy fans, I can't see, but it's over there somewhere.
As much as all their music's just like a party and a laugh, it was amazing because, like, again, I hadn't really listened to much of them. Like, I'd heard bits and pieces because I work in a surfboard factory, basically.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a glasser. And so I'd always hear it, like, from other people at work playing and all that kind of thing. Then, like, hearing it and then meeting them, I was like, shit, these guys are going to be rowdy as hell. But Danny, the singer, like, when it's game time, he's on.
He is the
and
most
he is so on and
switched
so
on
switched
dude.
on.
Yeah.
And you think they're, like, super rowdy and just absolute party animals. But, like, you'd see him around.
They
like,
are.
Oh, boys, like,
They also
They'd be
know
like,
exactly
I will
what they're
attest
doing.
to
you'd see him and
are.
they're like, oh, boys, we're going to go get a drink in town later. Do you want to come? Like, you're more than welcome to. I was like, fuck.
That's
That was
really
really
fun.
genuine,
Yeah.
lovely people.
Well, it's that whole thing of like the Australian way. Everyone tries to be the hardest to be down to earth and real and take the piss out of themselves as well as everyone around them. Like,
Oh, they get
it's
cooked
just that
too,
thing,
though.
yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong,
What's the
they
drummer like in
They
that band?
fucking send it.
Oh,
I have never seen a drummer or any human alive send it like fucking BC.
Yeah, okay. So this is we're in Pamplona. We've just played like Running of the Bulls and stuff, and they have the headline slot of the night, and
Yeah.
and so BC decides to deck like 2 giant bottles of sangria.
That's
like
3
that.
litres of
They're
it.
like
Liter and a half
1.5
each.
liters, 12%, like
Yeah,
real.
and then proceeds to get on stage
brutal.
and play a whole set, and we were like, "Whoa, fuck, this
guy's
guy's an
made
animal!"
something
Jesus
else,
Christ.
you know?
Yeah, it just and their set, it's like it's punk stuff. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
short songs. Their whole set is like half an hour, and everyone's frothing, right?
Yeah.
And he gets, and as he stands up to like get off the stage to finish, he fucking just says some shit into the microphone. He's like. He's like, fuck yeah, and then falls
Just
through the drum kit
straight
and takes it out with him and stuff. And then everyone's like, cheered, one more song, and he's fucking falling over and shit, grab the front mic. and
Finds
he's like,
whatever mic it is.
One more bong! We're like, holy fuck, he's the best drummer in the world.
This is the peak of my instrument.
Yeah, like the whole tour, so we were away for like 4.5 months.
Yeah.
We started in London and then went down to Spain and kind of went freaking everywhere in Spain. We spent about 2 months there.
We
and
hit
then-
everywhere in Spain short of Madrid, I reckon.
Yeah, and then
Somehow.
ended up in Germany for Oktoberfest at the end. But it was unreal, man. We played.
Oh, mate,
And
Oktoberfest.
initially we were supposed to
cheers
play
to you, mate.
about
Good job.
8 gigs,
Yeah.
and then we're just a very consistently gigging band, so we were like just riding Toby's ass about like, dude, put on some more shows, get us some more gigs. We ended up playing about, I think it was about 19 to 21 gigs or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was so
pretty
strange
good.
because we got the itinerary first, and we're like, oh, there's not that many shows here. What the hell? And so yeah, we were just like harassing Toby, the head of it. Like any chance you have to put us on,
Put us on.
Put us on.
Yeah.
like we're here to work, we're not here to.
We
fuck
played
around.
one night in Pamplona. One of the shows got rained out, so they rented this big truck. It bucketed rain. Like I cannot put into words
Like
how
water
much
broke a
rain
truck,
happened
like
in
you
one
said.
night.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Water
truck
broke the
sank. The water got into it everywhere. One of those like stage trucks that you rent and everything
Yeah.
folds out. So we ended up playing this weird, dodgy little show, basically for the staff that were brave enough to leave their tents in like what used to be the food tent.
Yeah.
I was sitting on a keg. Like it was,
Something on a
it was
keg, yeah.
rustic,
Yeah,
like to say the
yeah.
least. We played like an hour
Held
set.
together by string.
The
drum
people
kit
went
was
off
like-
their
it was
heads,
nasty.
man, because everyone's there. They've been getting cooked since like 6 in the morning. You get there, you play a show for like 150 staff members. It was the rowdiest party we've ever seen. I think we played for like,
Yeah.
we were supposed to play for an hour. I think we played for like an hour and a half. I played
Yeah.
drums over the DJ sets.
Yeah.
I played drums with.
Yeah,
the
it wasn't
band
like
before.
super
It was
prestigious.
sick.
Like we were staying in some nice spots sometimes, like villas, and in London we had like a cool.
London was
Airbnb.
amazing,
A
yeah.
lot of the time we were just camping and sleeping on beaches and shit.
Yeah, it was
that.
like the beach
Wow.
and fucking.
But it
camping
felt
and
real
stuff.
too, you know. I mean, like
Yeah,
you think
it's
like
like-
you know,
You
Motley
don't,
Crue, like,
you don't
sleeping
start
in
your
their cars
tours
and
in like
shit on the
5-star
road. Guns N'
hotels.
Roses,
Can I
like,
just
walking.
ask, was this before they had released that album with like Bullshit and Scott Green on it? Was this before?
I
they
don't know,
were-
actually.
Definitely
I have no
after,
idea.
because
I
everyone was
reckon-
asking
yeah.
who Scott Green was.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, what the
After-
fuck is
after-
happening
yeah.
here?
And like
They
just
put out
before
a
we
couple
left,
of
they
songs,
released
yeah.
a song called. They released a single called "No Plans" or something like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that was like just before we left. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure of like the chronological
Yeah.
order of
But
Man, the
tour
Australians
as a
and
whole,
Kiwis,
like the
yeah,
tour as a whole
love
was
it.
fucking insane. Like we started off, our first gig was London, big day out, and we played for like 3,000 people.
Big day out as well.
Like,
Yeah.
well, they said look, big day out. It's a little
Yeah.
bit different, but yeah.
It's the
so
Stoke Travel big day.
that-
Yeah, but it's
that
still
was-
like.
Still unreal.
It's
5,000.
Still, yeah,
6,000
like
people,
like
it's
you
huge.
couldn't see the end people. Like
Yeah, you walk
couldn't-
out onto the stage and there's like a sea of heads,
What
and
did
you
that
can.
feel like for you guys?
Dude, it was well.
Oh,
The
It's
thing is,
really
like,
hard to
we were just
describe,
like-
honestly.
the thing is, like,
Yeah.
there were some bands that played before us, and initially, we pushed for a later slot,
We
cool,
push
let's
real
do that.
hard for a way to
And then we found out, like, because in the day there's like sporting things going on, there's all kinds of different events happening along this festival ground. And there were some bands that played before us, and even though there's like, 3,000 to 6,000 people at this place, there are only 15 people like watching these other bands. And we were like, fuck, this is bad.
It's
you know,
gonna,
like, we're
this is
gonna
gonna
play to
look
no one.
shit. We're
And then
gonna
we're
be
like, okay, well, between the 5 of us, we're going to split up and go and talk to everyone. So we all split up and literally spoke to thousands of people, just like chatting, being like, we play at 6 or whatever it was. And then everyone
it
was
was
starting
6,
to,
it was
and then Jared, our social media guy, he came away with us.
Yeah,
Wait,
he was in the
best friend.
DJ booth too. He was doing.
Best
he was
friend.
playing DJ. Yeah, he was playing DJ and kept announcing like through like in breaks and sets like wicked things go on stage at 6. You know?
And then like
Yeah.
the fucking final little like the final thing that got everyone in was like around about 6 o'clock. It just started to rain a little
It was
bit.
like
The whole stage was
5:55.
undercover.
It was like misting, and then 6 o'clock just went click,
And
rain.
then fucking we had like
Everyone got
5,000 people in
Just
this
went
tent,
boom
and they
into the
called
tent.
us up, and we're standing on stage like 5,000 people. It was unreal, man.
I don't know if it was
And
5,000.
then
I think it was like maybe 3.
It was a lot of people.
It was a lot of fucking
It was a lot of
people.
people.
More people than I care to count.
Yeah.
We're
I
trying to
think-
leave for like
I wonder
6
if
hours.
there's anybody out there who can clarify how many people. were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Toby,
It was more than
Toby.
six.
Talk to It was. I think it was like 2.5, 3 at most.
Yeah, I don't know.
Still,
It was a lot
that's
of people.
fucking sick.
It was a
And,
long
um,
tent, and it was very
We
full.
had this guy emceeing for us as well who came up beforehand.
like
And
a
I'd met
hype
him
guy,
like
sick.
just sort of earlier in the day kind of thing. He was like
Classic
in charge
hype
of the
man.
green room and backstage area. His name was Harry, and he was in like this full like purple and yellow
Like,
jumpsuit, with,
Fresh
like beanie
Prince
on
of Bel-Air
glasses.
jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And so he came out and he's doing the emceeing as all these people come in because the football game that was happening out on the field had just finished up as well. Starts raining, people start moving in. So he's on the emceeing going on about, oh yeah, this is Wicked Things from Australia. They're one of my favourite bands. I love their tracks. You guys got to check it out. Make sure you stick around. I was like, dude, I
Like,
met you earlier
this guy.
today. This is epic.
I met him like 2 hours ago. I gave him a free
Awesome
beer. He
was,
thinks I'm sick.
Like when we played, because Stoke was like awesome support too. Like they would start like the second we won, they'd be sharing our like our socials and stuff,
Share socials.
our Spotify links.
Yeah.
And then like people who were there to see music too, like the first like 4 or 5 rows of this crowd, which is probably close to like at least 300 people, I reckon.
Yeah.
Would hear like the songs we had out at the time, Catalina and Blackout, and they'd sing the words back. And it's like,
like
what
this
the
is the
fuck,
first-
man?
Yeah, it's people that we've never met before, and you're watching
yeah.
people yell your own words back at you. You're like, oh, okay, this is
really
sick.
cool.
Like,
You almost feel like a actual rock star.
yeah, almost, yeah.
It was
I
really
can't imagine what it's like doing something like
so
Wembley.
I
that-
remember. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. That's probably the extreme. Like so, yeah. There was like what like 3,000 something
Yeah.
people at London.
The smallest
and then
one.
like in between, like the smaller Spanish festival and stuff, there's like 50 to 100 people, which is still great. And then like Oktoberfest came around. That was like the last leg of the
That
tour.
was something.
It was like
and that was like
1,000 to 1,500 people per show, and we
yeah,
play about 3
and so
shows
like
per weekend.
Oktoberfest goes for like almost a month. So over
Yeah, it's
3
like 4
weekends, we
weeks or
played
something.
like 9 shows to like about 1,500 people every weekend. So it was
And it's a
fucking awesome.
constant changeover. So
The
it's,
show's good though.
oh
Unreal,
man,
man.
they
Yeah.
built the stage out of pallets and empty beer crates.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
lights were budget, the speakers
And
were
people had to
budget,
drink
and
those
it
beers
cranked.
people had to drink
Oh,
those
easy.
beers to build.
We
the
hired
stage.
we hired a set of subs for one of the weekends that got shut down because the subs were pumping
that
bass
sounds-
like 1.5 k's out of the camp and there were noise complaints. But the shows were at Oktoberfest was something else.
Yeah.
Something else.
Yeah, like that. Like I said, we weren't like exactly like living the high life there. But
Yeah,
there's we were supposed to come back and do it this like
Not-
a
yeah.
smaller tour, like less time, but we were going to be back this year, and there is no way. If you get the opportunity, anyone who's watching it, and if you play in a band, if you get the opportunity to go with Stoke, fucking do it. It's insane.
Yeah, be prepared. It's not like you've seen in the
It's not
dirt.
luxurious.
It's not like the tour you watched in the dirt, and if you haven't watched the dirt, fucking watch the dirt and learn something. You're not going to be doing heaps of fucking fun things off counters in 5-star hotels. It's not going to happen. You're going to be sleeping in
do
the
those
dirt,
fun
having a
things
fucking
on the
blast.
dirt.
Pumping all of the beers for free.
But it's unreal.
wow.
It's something
Tarpaulin
else.
is
It is
quite
something else.
unporous,
Yeah.
actually.
It is
Yeah, the
very
trick is get heaps of little camping mattresses and wrap them in sleeping bags. This is pro tips. You won't find this anywhere else. An inflatable mattress sucks. Just
Don't
side
get the
note.
inflatable ones. Get the flatties.
Yeah, get
You'll
flatties.
know what I mean.
You'll understand one day.
Okay, sorry.
Inflatable ones always deflate in your back.
Well, he knows it. Man knows it. He's on.
You know what you're talking about, man. Yes.
I was going to
Spot
say,
on,
question,
they
have
suck.
you finished that whole bottle of vodka
No,
just
I haven't
today?
finished. It's lasted
Mate, he's
about
not.
a couple of weeks.
He's not got
That
long.
was us the other day. We bought a big bottle of Jack, and Glenn Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich.
And we were like, oh yeah, we'll have the
Jeez,
Jack,
yeah.
we'll have the Jack, and then we'll have a bit of Glenfiddich, but we'll leave it because it's kind of fancy.
Yeah.
And then like 2 hours later, we're like, where the fuck are all the drinks? Like, we just fucking demolished them. We were
Oh,
like,
that's
shit,
it.
didn't even
does-
notice.
it does
last
happen.
a couple of days.
Nah, gone.
I saw you
nothing
put
else
the
to
last
do.
out. I was like, fuck. Okay.
Jesus, mate.
Nice. But yeah, so that kind of
Yeah.
sums up Europe a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So since you guys had the Europe tour, did you come back to Australia thinking you guys were a big fish in a small pond?
Oh,
there was
really
recognition?
weird,
No,
actually.
no, definitely not.
We
Like,
knew that like
it was
before
kind
we
of
went
a
away.
pseudo effect. you
Before
know,
we went
like-
away, we had a goal to double our social media followings, and we did that. We got a little bit more than that, which was sick. And then we came back, and honestly, like coming home, our first show, the last show before we left was at Frankie's, and then the
Well,
first show
first
back was
show
at
back was
Frankie's.
at Frankie's.
Cheers, Jordo.
I have
But-
never been more nervous, for a show than that
Because everyone's
first
like,
Frankie
"Fuck, you
show
guys
back.
been touring
Frankie's is
Europe,"
like the
and
biggest.
like,
Like if you made Frankie's, you've.
And we were
Yeah.
playing. We were playing for Vicky Hamilton, who was ex-manager of Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses.
and then we also
Holy
had
shit.
Michael Browning, who like produced In Excess and managed AC/DC for a while, was there too. Checks out. And it was our first show back in Sydney. We had like band members that are friends from other bands, like come to check us out because we'd just come back from Europe. And we were like, "Fuck, we have to be so good."
To
'cause
put this in
everyone's expecting
perspective,
crazy
we
shit.
played for 3,000, let's say, people in London, and we're considerably less terrified than playing for 45 people at
Yeah,
Frankie's.
but like,
Sweating.
they got nuts at Frankie's. Like,
Oh,
you get
mate,
the best,
yeah.
the best
Oh,
fans at
Yeah, but like, man, it was just like the pressure was just.
Yeah, it
it
was a
felt
bit
like it was
nerve-wracking,
crazy because
yeah.
we were just
Yeah.
like everyone is
Real
expecting
fans.
us to be
and then
here
the
now.
second,
you know?
the second gig back was.
So we,
actually
we ended
much
up, we
better,
played
yeah.
okay. It wasn't our best gig. We played alright. The
Yeah.
second gig we did
The
back
second
was like,
gig was
let's go. Now we're
more
here.
relaxed than
Can
ourselves
I just
again.
stop you
Yeah.
there, guys? I just want to say to the camera that any people out there who haven't seen Wicked Things, you need to fucking see them because they are probably one of the hands down the best live bands in Sydney.
Thank you so much.
We
Thank
booked,
you, guys.
we booked a gig with Wicked Things, and we were throwing a fishing line in the ocean, and we didn't think that you guys would accept the gig with us, and then you did, and we're like, oh shit, we're playing this gig with Wicked Things. Oh my god! And we've seen like your backstory, and we've been following you through Europe, and then when we finally got to play with you guys, we're like sitting at the back thinking, shit, should we just call it a day here?
Definitely not.
No,
I was just saying to you,
Yeah.
I wanted to ring like the future Chuck Berry and be like, oh yeah, we found you. we found
the next thing.
that, but
No,
Little
thanks so
thing
much,
in B
man.
major.
Like, we're just gig sluts, but like
Yeah. Like, that's the best
least
word.
Sean is the bad
That's the
egg.
best word for it, man. Like,
as of late, we've had to tie it back, tie it down a little bit, like
for health
Well, I mean,
reasons.
Well,
Everyone has,
obviously,
yeah.
but like we also want to make sure that the bands we're supporting and everything get our full kind of attention,
Yeah.
and get like
It looks better.
just
Like,
etiquette too, because like especially before Europe, we were trying to make our get a foothold, get some sort of
So we
like
just played
people
anywhere
to
and
have
everywhere.
any idea of us, And again, we didn't have heaps of money to record, so the way we get heard was by playing,
Yeah.
But then coming back, and
Still don't have any money.
as much
yeah, now we can't play.
coming
So
back
it's just
home,
like,
as much like a wank as it is, we have a little bit more prestige, and we have to kind of pick and choose a little bit more. And especially like the bands we're supporting are people that we like. Fox Company gave us a gig when we got
yeah,
back, and we've
slightly
those
bigger
guys gave
bands.
us like our first awesome, like some of our first awesome gigs
In the proper
as
rock
Wicked
scene,
Things.
sort of thing.
Yeah,
they kind
in
of
this
introduced us
scene,
to the
yeah.
scene. So we owe those dudes heaps. Shout out Fox Company. So thanks heaps, guys, and we
Yeah,
love you.
Fox Company are fucking.
But yeah, and then like we had a show with them for their single release. Was it Get Right at the Blondie View?
yeah,
And we were
yeah.
like, fuck, man, because we played a single release with them before when we were new, and we barely got any people to come through. And we were
Yeah,
like,
we
fuck,
probably
man,
got,
this time we need to do a
7 or 8.
big push and show these guys that we fucking love them and we want to show the support for them, So we pushed the fuck out of it and got heaps of people.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
all just
exactly.
about
Fucking
balancing
window.
gigs. So like before that one, we knew it was important to them and it was going to be big for us. So we broke. We had like a month off. We did nothing. We just promoted this gig. We got some new material ready, kind of teased it and things like that.
Yeah,
That's
so
just,
we've kind of been like making a note to spread ourselves out just a little bit more.
Yeah.
As well, like sort of on top of that, like I'll pretty much take any gig that I can, especially if it's been a while, because to me it's one of just like the most exciting things you can do and the most
is
fun.
unreal.
So it's
Yeah, I
like
need
the
to
main
fix.
element I try to sort of bring to it as well, because I've only been singing a short amount of time. Like you never know if you're going to be hit or
You're
miss.
doing a great fucking job. let's be
I'm
honest.
honestly so glad to hear that because
Yeah,
it's a pain in the ass. But I just try
nerve-wracking
to make it.
up there.
I just try to make it fun and engage people. So like even at the end of our set, my voice was pretty fucked. Not gonna lie, like that's yeah, rough. But but no, we played War Pigs, and you came up to sing for it.
That's right,
And I remember part of it was like, okay, he's gonna sing because it's gonna be fun, but also my voice is
gotta
fucked
do
right
it.
now.
That was fun. Like your stage was fun. You guys were amazing.
Yeah, just
I
trying
didn't
to
think I
get
was
people
going
to
to
jump in.
because you were pretending like I didn't know the words. I thought I'll help you, but you actually dragged me back on.
no,
I was like, shit, I wasn't ready.
It was partly like you can sing also
Yeah, to
sing
not be
right now, please.
Please sing.
I remember watching that at the back of the room, being like, "Oh
was-
wow, this is interesting."
I was like, I can't do the lyrics. It was good because I sing at Frankie's also. The
Saved my ass.
and
man.
Man, everyone knows War
Paranoid,
Pigs.
but War Pigs I hadn't. And your friend, was it one of your friends in the front?
Probably would have been Jared.
Jared.
Yeah.
So I was singing, and then he got the next line, and I sung it straight away. Just like
It's like, yes.
something.
Oh,
and
thank
like-
God.
He honestly,
And then the crowd were singing back to me as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the good thing about War Pigs is it works everywhere. Because
Yeah.
I don't think there's a
I could
human
have
on
just stood
earth
there,
that
but the whole
hasn't heard
crowd
that
just
song.
could have. The crowd could have just done it for you.
That's actually a really
Next
good.
time the crowd could do the.
All you got to do is generals,
Yeah.
and everyone else will go. Go.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
the
man.
first day
It's
in my
perfect.
life when I heard that song, and I was like walking, and would have been a day in your radar. I finished high school, and I put on the headphones, and somebody said, "Listen to this song." So I've typed it up on my phone, and then I'm walking, and I'm like, "Generals gathered." And I was like,
Semi-pro, not even semi-pro. Tip that we like to abide by is just if you play a cover, make sure everyone fucking knows.
Make it a
Yeah,
classic.
don't play a
Yeah.
cover that no one knows.
Question.
Yeah,
No,
play
this is
something.
a song
Because
from
you guys did Johnny B. Good
Everlasting
earlier.
Sunshine.
Yeah,
It's off
yeah.
their 15th album.
Does
It goes
everyone
like this,
here
like
know
that.
War Pigs? So
Yeah.
if I go, generals gathered in their masses,
Just like bitches at black masses.
flawless every time.
Yeah.
Although well done.
You wanna pick
beautiful
part-
job on that one.
No warm up as well.
It's all
I feel
classics,
like-
yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna do covers, like you want to do some fucking.
You want
It's
to
like
make
we
it sound
do-
good live.
Yeah.
Like War Pigs sound good
And that's
live.
like- that's
and
like
I
you
wanna
guys.
listen to
You
it
guys-
again.
Yeah.
And it
War
makes
Pigs-
sense when you hear it live as
Yeah.
well.
Some songs have that instant thing, like War Pigs is like very defined. You sing one part, everyone else sings the rest.
It
You
should
cover
take,
it. It's
that
fun.
song should take over Bohemian Rhapsody because that song's way better.
Hey,
If that
Sabbath.
song played at part where everyone's like off their heads,
Oh,
and
man.
War Pigs come, everyone's just gonna go nuts.
Go for it, yeah.
Like
Let's go
everyone
on.
drunk enough, they'll
But yeah, it's
become
peak
nailing
classics.
Bohemian
I feel like
Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, you got to skip like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You just sit through it like.
Just get to the guitar solo
Like 2
bit.
minutes of the solo. Everyone could just be like doing the solo.
Oh
for,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
Yeah, oh, imagine the air guitar drunk
Did
at
you
a
ever
party
go
with
get
War
to
Pigs.
see Black Sabbath live?
Yes.
You go on the last tour?
Twice.
Nah, these
Yeah.
boys.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that was amazing.
I saw him in 2012?
2013.
Well,
2013, yeah.
2013.
Yeah, we got the shirt.
Blade.
Oh, it was.
Yes. You can't see off screen.
Right now, off screen.
Yeah.
Our cameraman Jordan has got the Black Sabbath shirt on. Can we get Jordan? Jordan, do you want to come around here, mate, and show your fucking shirt
There
off?
we go. There we go.
Ah, there we
Look at
go.
that. Look at that.
Beautiful.
That's perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
That is exceptional.
I'm slightly less excited about the shirt. I thought you were just getting undressed.
No, we.
Later.
Well, that could be for later.
Yeah.
I think the best
Yeah.
part was how the cameraman recorded Tony Iommi's solos. You just see it all, just me, his fingers.
But the thing I love most about Tony Iommi is when he's in the studio and they're like, okay, dub that solo, so we got 2 takes, and he just does a completely fucking different solo, and they put them both in there anyway.
Yeah.
So every Tony track
only
you're
got
listening
3
to, you've got to
fingers.
try and like, how many fucking guitar solos?
No, there's a Black
mint.
Sabbath song. I don't know. You guys are probably familiar with all of. Like, I'm a Sabbath fanatic, but the first album is there's a song called Sleeping Village on it,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like this trippy slow thing, and then it just turns into a guitar battle with like Tony Iommi versus Tony Iommi.
Honestly, my favorite song is
everything
there.
I want in a
Grave.
song.
He's got like a 2.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
He does it a lot, man.
that
Yeah.
big bend, yeah.
So how do you do it? You can't do it at the same time. It's obviously
No.
Tony
Yeah.
Iommi has like such a distinct guitar tone as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
he's-
how do you
So aggressive, man. Like,
That's
yeah.
he's so good.
Honestly, like Back in Black, favorite song ever. Black Sabbath rock, man.
I've never seen anyone stand so still on a stage but not been able to take my eyes away from him. I'm like,
yeah, like-
he's gonna do something.
Yeah.
He did it on the guitar but not with his body, but I still can't look away.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I
a Christian.
remember at that concert we're talking about, I got like pushed at that mosh pit and people being like thrown over the barricades. And then I'm like a meter away from Ozzy Osbourne and I'm looking at him and he's looking at me and I'm just fucking terrified. Seeing the man himself.
that was like me and Sinister Gates at Avenged Sevenfold because I was like 3 people behind Sinister Gates at
Yeah,
like
right.
2013 or 2014.
Yeah.
And he threw a pick and
So
he
you would have
went-
gotten fucking
He
railed.
just went like, he just like,
no.
Sinister Gates, like, it went like that and snap and went, and the song was just like, I'm like, no.
But, yeah. That's for any of you kids watching, quick educational lesson here. No song in the world moshes harder than Black Sabbath, Children of the Grave.
Yes.
If you think you've been in a mosh pit, you are wrong until you've been in one with Sabbath's Children of the Grave.
I was like, Blade linked me by the arm because he was like, they're about to start playing Children of
Kev
the
was
Grave.
young at the time too.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's all right.
okay.
And Blade was like, no, link
no.
under my arm. So I've linked
Hold.
under his arm. He's got me like this. And he's like, if you start jumping out of time, you're gonna get concussed.
You're gonna die.
Literally, the whole thing. Everyone moves like this, and if you're out of it, you're just fucking going in.
I think Caleb was
the
like
best.
15 at the time too, like little. And
It's his first real rock concert. Like, it was,
Oh,
Yeah, well,
John
that's
Mayer
the thing.
rocks.
go home.
Like,
That was the thing. Like, I saw him in 2014 or whenever they came
Yeah.
out, and then and I was like, fuck, because like Geezer Butler was my fucking dude.
Idol,
And then
yeah.
and then years later, I get a call from Wayne's, but just one of my mates, just a fucking nickname there. But I'm at my girlfriend's house,
Yeah.
and he's like, dude, I can't see Sabbath tonight.
he couldn't
I'm
pay his
like, what
rent.
the fuck? I'm just like, yeah, I have to sell it for rent. I'm like, whoa. He's like, do you want to go to Sabbath for $100? I'm like, oh shit, let me call Blade. so I call Blade, and I'm like negotiating with myself, but to Blade, and I'm like, I've seen Sabbath before. Take Caleb. Okay, I'll throw myself on the grenade.
Please take Caleb.
Take Caleb to Black Sabbath.
Agree to
please,
do it
Blade.
now before I say I want to go.
Yeah. It was like, so I feel like that was my good deed for a lifetime.
Yeah, that was it.
Is your actual name Blade?
Yeah.
That's such a
Yeah, no, it's,
cool,
it's his stage name. His actual name is Blade.
My actual name's Caleb, if anyone's.
Joke
But I was just like Blade. That's such a cool name.
You all got
So
nice
joking.
names. You all got
I get it
nice
all the
names.
time, man. all
How
the
did
time.
your parents like think of the names?
Dude,
Like,
honestly,
what is the coolest
there's-
name?
there's a bit of a
What's
story.
the
I
name?
think they said, "Oh look, my sons are gonna be like in a great band." We'll just,
No,
it just
you
worked
know
out
the
for
actual
them.
story behind it is a cowboy and a Native American. Mum was heaps big on cowboy films. My middle name's William, right? Blade William Hills. Now if you swap them around, William gets shortened to Billy, and Billy
Billy
Blade.
Kid.
Billy Blade always sounded like a cowboy thing to Mum, but she didn't like me being called William because it's not as cool
It's
as the
pretty
name Blade.
lame, yeah.
So she swapped them back.
No
and then
offense to
Jericho
all
is,
No offense to Williams,
Jericho
yeah.
is Jericho Blue, and to Mum that was like a Native American kind of sounding thing from like the old 50s Western films. So we're like a cowboy and a Native American.
Yeah. She loved
So
the
shout
old
out to
Western.
any
She
any
loved-
mothers out there that want their kids to form a band. Start
Yeah,
naming your kids after
Just
cowboys.
pick sick names, tough for battle.
If you're playing more than 3 boys, yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to all mothers in general. Just saying.
Howard,
Like,
yeah. Thanks for paying for my beers.
Thank you.
So I remember before you were talking about the Stoke competition, and like some of Sydney's best bands are in there. You gave us a bit of goss beforehand. You know, what more can you tell us about that experience?
Well, one, like, we come from a background of this martial arts and acrobatics thing where you compete by battling, right? So my moves have to be better than your moves, so I win, right?
Yeah.
Now that's the same as our kind of on-stage tactics. Is like, doesn't matter which band is on, we're gonna fucking blow them off the stage because we're better.
That's the
And
mentality.
That's the mentality. I love everyone.
working so
I love
far.
everyone off stage, but when it's on stage, that's a war zone, man. And like, if they remember my name, fuck yeah. If they remember yours, I didn't do my job properly. You know, that kind of thing. And then we were like, well, fuck it, we're just gonna go. We thought the competition was rigged.
Yeah,
too.
that was the big one. Is we
So-
went into this competition thinking there's no chance for us to win it. It's just a spot for us to play at the Lansdowne. We get our names in at the Lansdowne. We'll be relaxed. We'll just knock it out like we do.
We played at like 4 in the afternoon on a Sunday, and we pulled as many people into the crowd as we could. So our mate Jared brought a bunch of his friends, and we brought family members,
Yeah, we
friends,
were
anyone who was
we lived in the
available on
northern
Sunday.
beaches, so we brought a whole bunch of beaches crew and stuff. It was, yeah.
And then we played, and we were like, well, we've done what we've done.
Done all we
Competition-
can. Yeah, this is
competition's
as far
rigged.
as we can go.
Caleb and I were so sick. Caleb went to Melbourne the day before because his girlfriend's
my girlfriend's
auntie was about to
had
die or
her
something.
birthday. It was a birthday. It's the
Oh, there you
opposite.
go.
Anyway, and then so he flew back. He got back home to Sydney that morning. I had the flu so bad, like I could barely stand up. So I
We
was
thought
like,
nothing.
smashing
We thought
painkillers.
absolutely nothing of it.
And then for some reason, after we played, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna get the hell out of here and go to bed. And then we played, and for some reason, I was like, no, I think I'm gonna stick around.
Something
you know?
just felt
yeah.
odd about leaving.
And
We're
then-
like, look, we got to support the other bands for one, but something's
But
amiss.
mind you, Caleb and I, we were sticking around. We were sticking
Yeah,
around.
my
He was
plan
like,
was
I'm
to
sick,
stick,
I'm going
yeah.
home.
Always stick
Yeah.
around, Jerry.
Always stick around. Yeah. Support
then-
other bands.
And then we didn't know, but they took Caleb off and told Caleb that we'd won.
They told me half an hour before the others. They were like, hey, we want to talk to you. I was like, yeah, sure, what about? And she's like, oh, how would you feel about going to Europe for 4 months? I was like, that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here
She's
for.
like, great, because you are. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? can I tell my brother? She's like, no, that's part of the deal. You can't tell anyone else yet. I was like, okay, when's it going to be announced? She's like, oh, about 20 minutes, half an hour. I was like, you fucking kidding me?
So did you tell them or did you keep the secret?
I tried. I came out and they were looking at me and they were going, oh, what's up? And I was like, nothing, it's fine.
No, honestly, we had no idea. And then Toby, the head of Stoke, was like, we want you guys to play another song. And we were like, oh, okay, cool. I guess like the top 3 bands play a song, so maybe we're in the top 3 or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just
And
get
so
to play
I
while the
figured-
winning band goes off and gets their prize.
Yeah,
Now,
I figured we were like runners up. So
Now,
it's
in
like
the time-
we'd play the band just off into the sunset. Be like, yeah.
Now, in the time that it took for us to finish playing our set, and then to be like, hey, can you play another song? I reckon collectively, we drank them out of several kegs, half a dozen bottles of Jack Daniels, like every drink under the sun. I came back in from a wander around outside and had 2 doubles downstairs and carried them upstairs to order more at the bar immediately. We were not in the best state.
This is probably like
we
the
came back
worst,
up we came back up from the car with all our gear to play another song. And then there were all these people standing on the stage and they're like, oh, everyone, come get up on the stage. We're like, oh, okay, they must be about to announce the winners. And we're standing there. And then they're like,
Instruments on, everything like ready.
then they're like, the winner's Wicked Dinks. And we're like, get fucked, no way. And I remember Dave from the Fossics grabbing me, like, hugging me and be like, you guys deserve it, man, fuck yeah, you know? Because like with the Fossics, we were like, if you guys win it or if we win it, I'll be happy regardless.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'd love to see you guys get there. And then,
Yeah.
we played our last set, our
yeah.
last song, and it was
Well,
War
actually, so one of the bands who will remain like nameless was pretty salty that we won, and I didn't see this at all because I was like over my side of the stage. I was on left stage. Blade was on right, and this guy like tried to like get
So
up
I
on
started
stage and
unplugging my gear
unplug
while I'm playing.
Blade's
Oh,
shit,
wow.
right? And so Blade kind of like pushed him off with his foot. And so the guy got pissed off as he would and threw a bottle at
He threw a
Blade.
beer bottle at me, and I ducked the beer bottle.
Wow.
And then he came
Proper
up on
salty.
stage again, and I gave him a real good kick in the chest, and then a couple of
Can we disclose the secret after?
Yes.
of course.
I kicked him in the chest, and then some of our mates were like, dudes, these guys, like, they're all martial artists, and these just don't fuck with them, basically. And so we had good friends, like, holding this guy back. And then lastly, like, in part of the guitar solo in War Pigs, he came up and went to grab my guitar, and I kind of jumped back and kicked him in the arm. And I saw his arm go the wrong way, and then security took him out and everything. And then a
It
couple
was
of weeks
that
later,
night, dude. They sent us a message on Instagram and
yeah, that night,
Was that
they
quick?
were like, oh, you owe us hospital bills. And I was like, yeah, fuck, dude. It was, one, it's self-defense. Two, all the security cameras have the footage of you, like, getting on the stage and hassling me. And the security guys took you outside. You got no leg to stand on, dude. And then they wrote back to us like, oh, you know, we're really sorry, guys. Hopefully we'll be on a bill again soon. And I was just like, nah.
No, not a chance,
But
man.
it
Like,
turns out Blade broke his arm.
yeah, but
Yeah,
busted this guy's arm, yeah.
I was gonna say it's like one of the
yeah.
highlights. Like, I mean, we won a tour.
We
but
weren't even
one
on
of the
the tour
highlights
yet.
of that night was getting the message from us. It was the guy with his arm up like this, with like bandage wrapped around it. It's like, you owe us hospital bills. I just wrote back, lol, get fucked. And that was it.
we don't know if it was broken, like,
Yeah.
exactly, but it looked pretty damaged.
I don't really care at this point. Like, if you're gonna play with another band and they win a competition, don't be a
Don't be
dickhead.
salty.
Don't be a
Yeah.
dickhead.
You know, like fucking
Everyone's giving it their
deserves
all. Everyone's in there for the same thing. If you lose, you lose. Just fucking cop it.
Give
Don't
love
be
and
an asshole.
don't be part of the whole tall poppy syndrome that Australia has. It's mental. Like, as soon as you start getting anywhere or do something well, everyone will support you until then and just try and cut you down afterwards.
Yeah. Just be happy for your mates. That's it. It's easy. Child's play.
So guys, we have one more question for you, and it's
Yeah.
like, what would you tell your 15-year-old self, or any children out there, or any people out there that want to start a band? What advice would you give?
Stay in school.
Let's
scrap that.
Advice.
We had that one.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, don't do school,
Yes,
stay on
self-care.
drugs.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. No, I was gonna say, there's such a culture in Sydney of, for one, not really going to music unless you're in a band or have friends in a band, which is something I think people need to start breaking out of. Like, so many
100%.
people want to hear new music, but aren't
Aren't
put
willing to
themselves
do it
into an
themselves.
environment
Yeah.
to do it. And the other one is
Just go
just
experience some new shit.
one, just play every show you can, and regardless of how good you get, don't be a fucking asshole. Like, we've played with some bands, and they come out, and some people can't sing, play guitar, or anything, and they come out and they're just assholes. They won't stick around to
Yeah.
see bands. They'll chat shit about other bands. It's
That's
like,
really important.
dude.
If you're on a bill supporting a band, stick around and
Yeah.
watch the
Support
band.
the
It's a
band. You're called a
community-based thing.
It's
support
community.
band.
Community-based thing.
And then, and then if you've got a sound that you like, regardless of who approaches you, management figures, other bands, people that are like, I play in this band and we got 100,000 followers, you guys should try this style of music. If you don't like it, don't do it,
Don't do
man.
it.
Play
Yeah,
your music.
Try to be you. Like, lastly, try to confuse work and play as much as possible.
Stay in drums, don't do school.
I mean, reverse it.
Always trust a
change
man
it.
with sparkly shoes. Can you
Yeah.
put those shoes up? Beautiful.
Yeah, get them on there.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
boots if I've ever seen a pair of boots.
Dress to excess. That's the goal, isn't it?
Thanks guys for coming on.
No,
Thanks
it's
for
been our
having us.
pleasure,
I'm
man.
sure we've
It's been
gone
our
over
absolute
time.
pleasure.
Thanks guys.
Yeah,
This
thanks
is
so much,
Wicked
guys.
Things and we're West Underground. Thanks
you.
for
Thank you, man.
Thanks very much.
Thanks boys.
Dude,
Absolutely. Thanks for
having us.
having us and thanks for
worries.
chatting
Thank
shit
you.
with us for a while.
Everybody, Wicked Things.
Okay, guys, we got to harmonise on Wicked Things.
Oh, we're
Wicked
gonna say wicked things.
things.
Wicked things. My voice can't go down. My voice can't go down. Why'd you start low? Who started low?
I
Oh,
started
so
like-
can I belt it? Can I belt it this time?
I'm
Yeah,
stay
go
key.
go
Go,
on.
go.
I'll give it a go.
Only you stay
Any
key.
last-
I don't know if I'll stay in key or not. I don't know what comes
Just
out.
like,
It's just what happens.
Thanks!
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
That's
go.
good.
Let me see if I can actually do this.
Okay, now first, second, third, fourth. Yeah.
yeah.
Wicked things.
Wicked things.
Wicked Things! Yeah, there we go!
I can't
That was amazing.
I just kept sliding. I was like, none of this sounds right.